Hello everyone, welcome back to From the Depths with me, Zacargo. We're looking at a Chrysoprase here. It's named after a rock, and yes, I had to look that up. No, I did not know that. But anyway, it's a tiny little Lightning Hoods craft worth about 44k. I'm going to drop the brown bears off. Each one of the brown bears is 300k, so this is definitely a little bit of overkill here, but you know, there's no kill quite like overkill. If you're liking the video series and you want to see more, please do remember to press like and subscribe. It helps the YouTube channel grow. There's an overlay. You can pause it if you want to read it. If you're not interested, then you're not interested. If you're just here for destruction, then let's get on with it. Basically, I'm trying to do this full time. I've got a trial period set out, and if we're not gaining subs, I'm not going to be able to continue to do this. So you know, I've got to. Oh my word! Oh, those missiles. Oh, those missiles were glorious. Yeah, that thing got cut in half. Up next, we got a Steel Strider's Reaper. It's a cool little craft. All the Steel Strider's stuff looks amazing. But, yeah, back to the point that I was making. I do need to keep gaining subscribers. If I'm not seeing success here on YouTube, then I'm going to have to go back to my day job. So if you want to see more, press the like buttons. If you're not subscribed, press the subscribe button. If you have a piece of feedback, press the comment button. Even if you don't have a piece of feedback, press the comment button anyway. My favorite comment to leave was "All hail the algorithm." I used to leave that on every single Lathrix video, hoping to help him out. Okay, we might be in too low of a zone. Up next, we've got a Lightning Hoods Umbra. This thing has a pretty substantial torpedo volley. Don't really want to get hit by those. But all things considered, it's a pretty small craft, so not very dangerous. We're going to drive away from the Umbra, so that hopefully we can stay out of range of its torpedoes, while our brown bears close the gap on it. So I'm just turning over here. Here comes the torpedo volley, and they're detonating in the middle of the ocean. Easy, no damage. Short while later, here we are watching the brown bears open fire on the thing. There it is. Beautiful connection by the missile volley. You can't hide underwater. I have sonar and inter-vehicle transmitters. I can still see you. You think you could get away? There is no escape. You know what happens to everything else when a family of brown bears descends upon them? They die. That's what's going to happen to you too. I mean, maybe the missiles aren't going to land, but them HESH shells, they're slow enough that they don't bounce. Little while later, here we are at Warp Difficulty 35, and we're going up today. We're going up today. This whole adventure run has been laced with One Piece memes. So here we are, conquering the Grand Line. Up next, we got a Clydesdale. Clydesdales are worth 167,000. Nothing too scary, and if we actually hit it with HESH, this thing will go down. Its broadside is pretty nasty, but I'm sure we have enough defense. So yeah, that fight ended about how I expected it would. And then another Clydesdale spawned. Now, I thought, you know, the last one we killed with an absolute ton of overkill. What if I just sent one hover tank about this? But then something else has spawned. You know what that looks like to me? That looks like another Clydesdale. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have 2 Clydesdales spawned in. I figured I'd test out the laser munition defense by turning broadside and just shooting down everything they had. Then I realized that this is probably going to take forever for them to actually get into broadside range, so after sitting here for a minute, watching us shoot down every like 80mm APS shell and no cram shells, I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to send one tank after one Clydesdale, and I'm going to send another tank after the other Clydesdale, and we'll just see what happens. So I deploy one tank to go after the rightward Clydesdale, and then I wasn't actually sure if you could manually order individual vehicles to target specifically one thing. So I was like waiting for the AI until I figured I'd just try it. Turns out if you spam the clicks on something, you can order it to target one specific thing. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind because I usually go on target prioritization to set things up to automatically target their preferred thing. But yeah. Now I noticed during the mid-fight that there was a huge volley of cram shells fired from the left Clydesdale towards my right hover tank. And this thing isn't actually meant to lambs things to the side of it. So what I do is I dock it to dodge the whole cram volley, and then I undock it because I'm a StarCraft player and I got mad micro skills like that. Not really a StarCraft player. Anyway, this is the fate of the left Clydesdale, and the right Clydesdale is about to meet a similar one. Immediately after defeating those two, a fourth Clydesdale in a row shows up. Apparently one of them was early and this one was late. Yeah, if all four of them spawned at the same time, they might have had a chance, but, well, fourth time's the charm? I don't know, maybe fifth time. Up next, we have the last right. Now, this thing is absolutely beautiful. There's only one problem. It's a ramming craft. And if I have anything, it's firepower. I do love the White Flayer's ships. I love the disconnected look. The thing is covered in thrusters. It has this nasty volley of missiles that it's going to fire out the rear. But man, I wonder if my lamps can actually hold this. That missile volley is sure to be nasty. Alright, let's get a good angle for this. I want to see everything that happens in this fight. Oh, this thing's about to have a bad day. That's a bad day. Even though somehow half of them missed. That is a bad day. Let's see what we got. We got a ram. We got some engine parts. Got a whole lot of armor. Mostly engine parts. Yeah, this thing probably doesn't have the power to winch me anymore. Also, the lambs are holding all of its missiles. I say is... Okay. Yeah, lambs held all of its missiles. The thing lost too much engine power. It's just sitting duck. Wow. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm very, very happy with the damage output on these brown bears. It is something else. Now, not being too impressed with everything we've seen so far, we're gonna go through another red portal. We're currently in 40, and going through this takes us to 45. Save. First thing to spawn after going to level 45 is an Ampere. This thing's 136,000 materials. It's got a few torpedoes. It's got some lasers. I ain't afraid. Some short-range laser combiners. Those things are nasty. That actually gives me an idea. I think if I do use lasers, I want to use short-range lasers. But yeah, I send one brown bear up against this because sending all three seems a little bit like overkill. And that missile volley, man. Everything really struggles against that missile volley. It's just a short-range, fast, with a heavy APN and some reinforced stuff. It just hits like a train. Up next, we have the Onyx Watch Redoubt. Now, I was having some trouble getting my camera to do what I wanted here, so we go into build mode to get a decent camera angle, because my boat is rocking all over the place. Onyx Watch, however, not very good against the HESH shells that we're firing, and while I think this thing does have some active defenses, it's just not enough to stop my missile volley. Taking a look, looks like one HESH shell hit that back left turret and hollowed it out. Oh man. Oh man, what we got here? Some cram bits. I don't see any engine bits, I just see some cram bits. We took out that cram. Got that EMP coming in from the secondaries aboard the Sunny. And are they going to ram? Okay. No, they're not going to ram. It's kind of close, but they're not actually going to ram. And since he's getting a little close, I'll just bring my other weapon systems online. Ooh. Will it stay airborne? Ooh. Okay, I think it just lost 3 cram turrets. Yeah, not sure, but I think it just lost 3 whole cram turrets. And it just lost another one, and some of its engine. Oh! Some more cram. I definitely see some engine bits in there. Yeah. Onyx Watch. I really want to go up against the Eerie. I want to send one of my tanks in a 1v1 against the Eerie. Yeah, these brown bears, they don't look like much, but their APS alone, I think, is about 100,000 of their cost, and it is nasty. It is a 250 millimeter auto cannon that fires 150 shells a minute, and they are 3 meters long with only 2 gunpowder casings. The rest of them is all HE packed into that Hesh head. So here we have the Flayed Soul. Now this is the biggest thing I've taken on so far. It's an absolutely beautiful craft. It's got these EMP winch large missiles. It's got these melee packs. It's got a whole bunch of dangerous looking spin blocks and a ton of thrusters. This thing, if it gets close to the 1000 Sunny, we might actually be sad. So I've gone ahead and released the brown bears. I missed the initial couple of hits, but wow. I am so happy with these brown bears. I cannot tell you how happy I am with their guns and with their missiles and with their AI. They control themselves so well. They fly in formation. They watch each other's back. So like their individual laser munition defense is not super strong. But the fact that there's 3 of them flying in formation means that they cover each other. And that's so useful. It's so useful. Up next, we got a Maelstrom. Coming in at 203,000 materials. This thing's got one hell of a missile volley, but I'm not really afraid of those missile volleys. It's gotta be said. Okay, so here it is. It's within range of our cannons. What do we got here? Nothing critical yet. It's firing missiles. This laser munition defense is trying, but I don't think there's any way it holds off our attack. Oh! Oh, we just hollowed the thing. Yeah, we just battered it with Hesh across its whole main body and took out most of its insides. How does our lambs hold the missile attack? Oh! Oh, that poor baby! Oh, he didn't get anything accomplished. Rip. So then a Grey Talons Warbird spawns. Now, I'm very excited to see anything Grey Talons. I've attempted the campaign a long time ago, and the Grey Talons were a faction that I never got to. Now, when I played, you still had, like, skill points for your avatar, and you still had metal and stone and crystal and oil as your resources. You didn't just have material. So I played on a very old version of the game, and the Grey Talons are just something I never really saw very much of because I wasn't very good there. Before we actually get to that Warbird, a Hydra spawns in, and it spawns in much closer. I was actually focused on maneuvering over to it when this Hydra spawned in. That Hydra's coming in at 134,000 resources. Yeah, we make real short work of that Hydra. He just kind of dies in like 3 seconds of our cannons opening fire. Closing distance on the Warbird here. Had my weapons holding fire because I wanted to see them. I wanted to see them get close. Now the Warbird itself is not very Hesh protected. Taking a small look at the inside, there is nothing stopping Hesh from ravaging this thing. So even without the missiles, this thing would be going down in a matter of seconds. The advanced cannons on it are pretty nasty, so if it stays at range and just gets to fire, it could definitely do a lot of damage. But yeah, look at that. Look at that. Up next, we got a Deepwater Guard Tortuga. This thing's really cool, and I've actually struggled. I used to struggle with this craft quite a bit because I don't know what it was. It was something about, like, no matter what I did trying to make, like, battleships, the Tortuga would always manage to get a couple of its cram bombers to my battleship, and they would always land critical hits. I actually used to struggle against this. I'm a little ashamed to admit it. I don't struggle against it anymore because I can make rapid-fire APS and laser systems and secondary weapon systems and missiles. You know, if you could do any of that, then this thing is not too dangerous. Looks like we shot down every single bomber. But the Tortuga itself is rather far out, so we're going to release a Hound. I guess we can't really say that anymore, because now they're called brown bears. Oh, here we are, closing distance on the Tortuga. Something else has spawned in. That looks like a bit of a familiar silhouette. Yep, it's another Redoubt. We took on one of these earlier. Now it's got a Tortuga backing it up. Let's just watch how this fight plays out. Tortuga is just a matter of time. Hilariously, it's actually harder for us to damage wood with the brown bears because Hesh is not very good against them. I mean, it breaks the blocks, sure. It's a 200... Did you really just shoot yourself? It's a 250mm primarily HE cannon. I cannot believe he just shot himself. But it's not super effective against wood just because the AP of the Hesh fragments is not very high. It's only really a matter of time. We're going to go ahead and deploy a second brown bear to meet this Redoubt out in its home habitat, in its natural ecosystem. I'm gonna let that despawn. That's a tip I definitely recommend. If you're having trouble with lag and stuff starts to die, just pause the game. If it's actually despawning, it'll continue to despawn while the game is paused, and it stops all the physics simulation. So it can really help performance, especially when you have several things fighting and in play. Apparently that Redoubt does not care about the brown bear. He's going straight for the 1000 Sunny, which is of course exactly what we want. That's why I like the sub-vehicle hover tank approach so much. You have your primary ship, and your forces are split like... Most of my cost is all in the brown bears. The 1000 Sunny itself is only about 500,000, and each brown bear is 300,000. But every single enemy, without fail so far, has targeted the 1000 Sunny, meaning I can run away on the 1000 Sunny, and they'll path in a straight line, immediately past or over all of my brown bears. Alright, we go through another one. We're now up to warp difficulty 50, and we have enough resources. We can get rid of our reaching rounders, our little submarines that we've been carrying around, and we can spawn in a fourth brown bear. We are now at 1.2 million materials and sub-vehicles, and 500,000 on the main craft. Everything still targets the main craft, so we have a ridiculous amount of firepower that just doesn't draw attention. We've also got 4 laser munition systems. The laser munition systems on the brown bear are actually pretty strong. They've got 4 Q switches on them, and our next opponent is Crossbones. Of course it is. Why would we fight anything harder? We fought a Hunchback at warp difficulty 17. We're now at warp difficulty 50. And we're fighting a Crossbones. I just feel like it's not... I feel like the adventure mode hasn't been ironed out. I'm kind of surprised to see that the adventure mode has not been fine-tuned. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the brown bears. We're up to 1.2 million in their cost, and their laser munition defense system, or laser anti-munition system, LAMS, that's what I keep calling it, can eat about 6,000 engine power and has about 4 Q switches on it. So it's not quite as strong as the 1000 Sunny, but there's now 4 of them. We're going to send, I think we're just sending 1 brown bear against this Crossbones here. Now, as much as I criticize the Crossbones in the adventure mode, the thing about the Crossbones is it does actually land 1 hit on our brown bear. That's more than anything else. Now, the hit that it lands on our brown bear destroys nothing but armor, even when it's with its penetration depth. And the brown bear does end up winning, but yeah, it lands some good hits. That hit right there. Taking a look at what's damaged, looks like we got some truss and some metal, an EMP protector, but I don't see anything functional. Yeah, some ducts. No thrusters lost. No weapon systems lost. Just some armor. Just some armor around the back. That's one of the things that's really nice about the brown bear's movement pattern. It's got 3 or 4 layers of metal all over it, and it kind of has a tendency to circle next to something, and it'll circle both sides because it's trying to face directly at an enemy. So it'll like alternate between which side it faces with. Its strongest faces its front with its laser munition defense, but it can take a couple of hits all over the thing without sustaining any real damage. So even though the Crossbones is the first thing to land a real hit on any of the brown bears, it still has not yet done any damage. And the Crossbones is down. Alright, so here we're going up to warp difficulty 55. That's probably going to be where we call the video. In total, we have destroyed 3,165,000 resources, and that's just the stuff that I have recorded. There's a bunch of, there was a couple of small deepwater guard craft. We killed a pilferer, a walrus, and 2 other things. His names escape me at the moment, but yeah, destroying over 3 million materials. We're only going up. This is a journey aboard the Thousand Sunny, so our objective right now, I guess, is to conquer the Grand Line, because why not carry on the One Piece reference? Just despawning my tanks here so that I can save the game properly without losing anything. I've been Zacargo. This has been fun, and join me next time for the continuation of the Thousand Sunny. Boom, jumping in at the end of the video using the old audio software so that people can notice the difference. I really am trying to improve the quality of my videos, so thanks for the feedback I've gotten so far. If you did like, please consider leaving a like and a comment, and or subscribing to the channel. I'll see you next time.